Okay. All right, we're recording. So welcome, Bruce, and welcome, Clayton, to this recording. And thank you for making the time to come on live today and talk about your journey, where you started, what struggles you have faced or are facing, and how your life is kind of manifesting into the right direction or the outcome through Chinese metaphysics and astrology and feng shui and working with me. So Bruce, the stage is all yours. And just for the audience, Clayton is a very, very good friend of Bruce here, who is my client. And yes, Clayton and I have never met today, up until today. So I knew of him, but I had never met him. So whatever is going to come here out of Clayton's mouth is going to be raw and fresh for all of us. So Bruce, why don't you take the stage and start with your journey? And oh, they're here.
Yeah, sorry, a call came through.
No.
So thank you, Gagan. So my name is Bruce Green, and I actually met Gagan several years ago working with another company that she and I were both involved with. And our paths crossed because of a connection that was made some time ago. I had an opportunity to visit a feng shui master named Master Jenny, who is actually Gagan's master teacher. And this really transitioned, like I didn't even understand or know what all Gagan was doing now. And, long story short, to be really raw, I was married to a woman, and she had a beautiful daughter. And I won't get into names just to protect everything. But back in last November, there were some things that happened in that marriage that actually caused some just really huge life-altering changes for me. I mean, it's really the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
I'm currently 54 years old, and some of the things that I've gone through in the last 6 to 9 months are things that I don't wish upon anybody. I really don't. Sometimes life puts roadblocks in your path, not to stop you from going forward, but to see how you can maneuver around them, over them, or even sometimes through them. Mm-hmm. And we get really focused. I know for myself, I can't speak for you that are watching. I can't even speak for my friend Clay that's on this, on this Zoom with me. But sometimes our roadblocks can be literally the size of a pebble, and we look at them as being Mount Everest. And then there are times when our roadblocks are literally as big as Mount Everest, and we just look at those and we think, okay, well, that's it. I'm stuck. This is it. I can't go any further. I can't go any farther.
Yeah.
I actually had an opportunity back in June. I took a chance thanks to that voice within, really, and reached out to Gagan. And because of, this is going to get emotional, wow. Because of my Mount Everest that I'm kind of going through, and literally I'm going through Mount Everest. I'm not stopped at the base camp.
Yeah.
I am climbing to the top of Mount Everest. And through this, it really allowed me to take a bold step and reach out to Gagan, who I wasn't even sure would be willing to talk to me because of past circumstances and events that have been tainted by other people.
Yeah.
And other situations. And I spoke to Gagan, And Gagan said, "You've been on my mind literally for the last 2 weeks prior to me mustering up that internal courage to pick up the phone and call. You know, I'd called enough friends or people that I thought were friends only to be told that we're no longer friends regardless of time. And it really just, you know, when they say you can count your friends, your real friends, typically on one hand, I can tell you that it doesn't matter how many pseudo Facebook friends you got, you know, in the 2000s. At the end of the day, people that I truly thought were part of the five,
they were
not part of, or they weren't part of the 500.
Yeah, they were not there. And
they were not there.
Yeah, and I do clearly, and we've talked about when we started, which was June 8th. You know,
yes,
the very first day I got the text and we started talking, and I had no clue what were you going on. I had heard a few things, didn't matter. And you know, one of the things that I feel is my divine blessing, that I listen all sides of the stories, but I don't let the environment or the stories cloud my judgment or cloud the intuition or the vibes that I get in order to guide the person towards their success. And what had happened with you, you had not seen it coming. And when it came to you, you fell flat on the floor. And from that point onwards, which was last year around October, November, you just went spiraling downwards so fast that you didn't know that you had hit the rock bottom until you really realized it. It was too late. So when I looked at your chart, which is the Chinese astrology Z-Way chart, and I've been guiding you through the process because I have the program where it's not a life map reading per se, that you get on the call and it's like an hour or 2 hour long session and then bye-bye, you go away. No. My forte is basically to guide people from whatever place they are in and take them to the next level, whatever that needs to be. And I base the route of success or the blueprint of success based on Chinese astrology and personal feng shui. And there are two kinds of things, and they're both based on destiny science, which is almost a 6,000-year-old strategy to win wars, to create your success. And it was used in warfare, you know, when the Chinese were fighting in the imperial world, how to win their battles in the actual battlefield. Those were the strategic analysis that they would calculate the stars and they would forecast and they would see the outcome. And if they didn't like the outcome, they wouldn't take the action. And if they wanted the outcome to be positive towards their benefit, then they would strategize and analyze what routes to take, what to maneuver, and how to climb your Mount Everest.
Yes.
And that's what we've been doing for the last, 4 months now. And yes. I believe life changes in 90-day cycles and in 90 cycles.
Yes.
So when I can look at it and I can forecast the success in advance, whether it's 90 days or 9 years, but unless you, the client who is involved in going through the process, doesn't realize it and is not awakened or is not aware of where the stress or those bullets are coming from, you can't do anything. So it's like, you know, you're blindfolded. And what I do, I take the blindfold off and I let you see everything. And once you are aware of what is happening, then the journey starts. How do you awaken your guardian of destiny? How do you work with your guardian of destiny? How do you look at your peak times? And how do you look at, hey, one problem is solved and now there's another problem. How do I go through that one? And I truly believe the end goal of every human being on this planet is to be happy and to be fulfilled. Whether it is through money, whether it's through relationships, whether it is through career success, whether it's through health, whether it is through legacy like their children, whatever that is, they ultimately want to reach that top of Mount Everest of their life.
Yeah.
And they want to be happy, they want to be prosperous, and they want to be successful. So I believe that everybody's success story is different. Everybody's Mount Everest is defined differently. Yours is different than Clayton's. Clayton's different than mine. Mine is different than a lot of other people. But the Chinese astrology and the program that I make my people go through, that process really blossoms. And when you start awakening and you follow that journey, the success stories come. They might come in baby steps or they might come in big leaps, but they do come. And it's all a calculated method. So tell us what all you have accomplished, in the last 4 months.
So it's been some crazy things, a lot of successes. And like Gagan said, sometimes they do come in the last couple of days. It has been like a dump truck. I mean, and I don't mean like, when I'm using that analogy, I don't mean like it's been, like a dump truck full of dirt. It's been like a dump truck full of big giant boulders. The blessings are manifesting in big form. Clayton is part of this understanding that he knows exactly what I'm talking about. To go back to June, yes, there have been some baby steps. There's been things from some severe financial drought to overcoming some financial drought. Now, I'm not saying I won the lottery, so no, I don't live in Texas. I didn't just win the lottery, so, don't go there. But it is baby steps. I am seeing that there's a pathway to financial freedom. Yes. My living arrangements, that in itself has changed in night and day steps in the last 90 days. So much so that currently now myself and a roommate are now the co-leasers on a home that I'm in.
And let me add to that. When you first texted me, you were in the laundry room.
Yes. Yeah. Situation arose where I responded to an ad on Craigslist where I needed a room to rent. And I was told, I responded, they said, hey, we've got a room for rent. However, it's currently occupied, but it will be open in about 7 to 10 days. And I said, okay. I said, well, I'm really in a situation where I really would like to, get out of my current situation as soon as possible. And they literally said, well, we've got a large laundry room. And it really is a large, it's a ridiculous size laundry room for the size of house that this is, but that we're in. But literally, I was on a blow-up air mattress, living in the laundry room for what I thought was going to be 2 weeks. And it literally ended up being for 3 months because the individual's room that I was going to take over ended up deciding not to move out. So
you were stuck again.
That, or I could move out and find somewhere else. And because of life situations and just, what all was going on, that really wasn't a best option. That could have been an option, but it wasn't a best option.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we moved forward. An individual that was here at the house who had been very verbally aggressive towards not only me, but to other individuals in the house, literally, within the last month, physically and verbally threatened me. And that individual literally got asked to leave and is no longer allowed back at the house. And, that in itself aligned things up. This individual was not trustworthy. He was supposed to take care of certain financial obligations for the house, and he was not. He was in turn coming back to those of us that were renting here at the house and trying to get us to pay additional monies so that he could basically pay off the debts in which he had created
Yeah.
within the household. And it was just crazy. And then
Let me get to the gist of the story, because I know I've walked you through this process and how
big time
things have been. So with living situations, financial issues, life not settling, the Mount Everest is like really big. And then this guy in there causing issues to the point that you've got legal issues happening, right, in life. So you're taking baby steps to overcome these situations. And it is possible not only because of I'm doing my share on this side. You are not in Texas. You're not in my area.
Mm-hmm.
You are in, where are you?
Phoenix, Arizona.
Yes. So you're in a different state, a different time zone, completely away. And Clayton, where are you? I'm not sure if you're muted. Where are you, Clayton?
Yeah, muted. Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay, so we're all in different parts of the country. And with Bruce and I talking during different time zones, I think a lot of people may feel that, you know, how does this work, this process work, and how do I create these changes? Well, like I said, I'm the guide. I look at the chart and I guide people in problem solving. First and foremost, if you don't know what the root cause of the problem is, you can't solve it. I look at the strategic analysis and then I empower you to take the action. So it's a partnership. It's a co-creation of these miraculous transformations. Like Bruce, you said, there were baby steps and then there were these big, gigantic blessings. You wouldn't know if these are blessings if you're not in the right alignment.
That's true.
Blessings are like opportunities. They knock at the door and then you have to open the door to welcome them in.
And so to say that something to that effect, one of the things that in this process that I have really learned is when your guardian angels are knocking at the door, they have a special knock. It's not literally, and I know that may sound kind of crazy or silly to some people, but I say that sincerely because, you know, it's not just noise. But you have to really look at understanding the different tone in the knock, but then you have to also look at and see that not only are they knocking, but sometimes they're slipping notes under the door to say, you know, it's okay to open the door. Yeah. Now open the door. And for me, literally for me, when there's been these little blessings, and I'm going to stick with the little blessings because, yes, in the last couple of days, there's been one specific situation that's happened that really is huge. I mean, Clayton and I both are still trying to wrap our heads around on how big it is. But for me personally, it's been these little blessings that, you know, sometimes you don't, I guess you don't know, is this a blessing or not? And what I've noticed for myself personally, thanks to Gagan, thanks to the guidance that I'm getting, thanks to the instruction, how do you know it's a blessing? Well, your guardians will give you the note under the door to say, this is a blessing. Now you gotta get off your rump, bend over, pick up the note and read it. You know, don't expect it to be, you know, but for me, every little blessing that I've gotten, there's been a confirmation that this is a blessing. And that confirmation, and sometimes it can be something as silly as, there's been times when I've had conversations with Gagan and we've talked about something very, very, very specific. I get off the call, you know, I just take a moment. I just really kind of absorb it. I don't like just hang up and then like start going 100 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I've really had to do. But then there's been some times when I'll pick up my phone and I do follow some very, very inspirational pages on Facebook, and there have, like, literally, of all of the Facebook crap out there, I can pick my phone up after I've talked to Gagan and we've spoke about something very specifically, and the very first thing is an inspirational quote that is exactly in line, I mean, almost word for word, and she has nothing to do with this Facebook page that I follow, you know, but that's when I've spoken to Gagan about that, and Gagan has explained to me and really taught me that this is my guardian giving me that this is the confirmation of the blessing, whether it has happened or it's coming to happen.
Yes.
Doesn't always mean that you're getting a confirmation of the past. It's also in line with what is to come.
Absolutely, yes. And these are the universal markers that are confirming that your manifestation command is going to go through, or it will not. And if it will not, it's outside the realm of your possibility at the moment. So how do you maneuver through that? So that's the second quarter, you know, learning, you know, okay, you got a universal marker. I've made a command. I want to win my battle. I'm in this really sticky situation, or I invested in something, it didn't go through, or the relationship sucks, or the business opportunity is not working, or the health is a challenge. Now the universal marker is like, boom, it is not going to work out. The outcome that I desire is not going to be the outcome that I want. How do I change the outcome? That's what I teach you next. And I'm so excited because I can't teach you that unless I get you in the right place, the right mindset, give you the basic foundation of destiny science, and help you understand and dissect your own chart. Your chart is your chart. My chart is my chart.
And I will truly say this, if you're going to take the time and you're going to invest in yourself, to invest with Gagan, I will truly tell you, you have to be an open book. Don't think you can, you know, keep a skeleton in a closet, you know, and I mean, you know, seriously, I mean, if you really want what you really want, then you better get real with what you want. Because if you're not 100% authentic, honest, not just with yourself, you know, don't expect miracles. Okay, because the universe doesn't serve up or offer or provide, give, whatever verb, adjective you want to use. It doesn't happen if you're lying, being deceitful, being dishonest. You know, the universe will look at that and just go, okay, yep, well, and deaf words, you know, falling on deaf ears.
Here's something I also want to add to that situation. You know, sometimes there is karmic debt on the chart.
Bingo.
So what does that mean? Everybody knows what karma is, you know, at least in the Western part of this world. You know, it is understood to a certain extent, may not to the entire depth of what karma is, but people know what karma is. And then sometimes we'll say, you know, if something bad happened to someone and say, oh, karma's a bitch, you must have done something, that's why it's coming back to you, that's why you are in a shitty situation, that's why you are broke or wherever you are, right? You know, hypothetically. But people forget that karma can be passed on from generation down all the way to you. So you may be paying for something in this lifetime that you never had anything to do with. It was an ancestral karmic debt, but it may be the reason you are at this fence where you now know what is possible with metaphysics or any work, or with coaching and mentoring or destiny science work. You were supposed to break free of that cycle.
Absolutely.
So whatever your ancestral lineage has done in the past, that your karmic debt has passed down through the DNA, and you are that point of separation to break free, because if you don't, then your legacy is going to be passed on to somebody else in your lineage, whether it's your siblings, whether it's your children, mostly children, unless you decide I'm not going to have children, then you're even more miserable. But sometimes that doesn't happen because you're supposed to break free of that cycle, and your chart can tell me if that's the case. And then I can walk you through how do you break free of that karmic debt? How do you pay it back? And then respect and honor the lessons that you were supposed to learn, and then move on and create something beautiful for yourself and for other people. If you don't have kids, like Bruce, in your case, it's a very challenging situation. So how do you create that legacy? Who will become your kids? Your clients. People who are younger than you are, that you can actually coach and train and nurture that relationship as if they were your little ones. Sometimes that's how you pay it forward. So I think destiny science is a beautiful yet complex science to learn and to embrace. And yes, you have to be very open in this program that I walk people through when I coach and train people, how to take control of their own life and be successful, how to create reality, or how to bend time, space, matter, and event to create the outcome that you desire. And it all starts with the awareness. I respect all religions. I never bring any religion that into our conversations. It's more spiritual work. It's more strategic analysis and forecasting where you are, what your environment is, how is it affecting you, how are you affecting the environment. And at the end of the day, people say, oh, I don't have the right resources. Oh, I don't have this. Or I don't have somebody to support me. Or I don't have, somebody to pay my bills. Or I don't have the money, whatever. So the situation. All of this is important reality of our life, but I think it takes courage. It takes courage to be successful. It takes courage to solve a problem. It takes courage to let go of your ego and have humility to say that, you know what, I messed up. I need to start again. It takes courage to have a coach or a mentor who is much younger than you in age and in life experience, but can still bring something beautiful out of you and create your reality that you desire. So I'm very honored to walk this journey with you, Bruce. And it's every other day when I get a text message or we talk once a week, it's just an amazing, you just fill me with your success and how your life is transpiring, how you're taking ownership of what your situations have been, from being, nested in a little, laundry room for what was supposed to be 7 days to 3 months, which is 90 days, to move to a room, to now being a co-leaser on your house, and to have financial opportunities show up, to have all these naysayers and people who were attacking you per se energetically kind of getting out of your life, because I feel these are weeds. When you start walking your journey, these weeds are going to get pulled out. You know how we do landscaping and we take care of, beautify a garden, we plant seeds, we plant flowers. There's no room for weeds. So the universe will start taking these weeds out, and sometimes the weeds are negative people around you.
And you say that sometimes, like in my situation, sometimes the weeds can be some of the closest people in your life. And that's been one of the hardest. That's been one of the hardest things to embrace. Is sometimes you have to literally let go in order to make room for the bigger, the better.
Yes.
And it's when you are holding on and not willing to let go, I mean, it's, all joking aside, I use the Mount Everest, nobody has ever decided today they're going to go climb Mount Everest tomorrow and never trained for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting here, in my house, in my room right now, with a short sleeve shirt on. I live in Phoenix, so of course I've got on shorts too, because, it's still close to 100 degrees here, but if I decided I wanted to go climb Mount Everest tomorrow, I'm not wearing a short sleeve shirt and shorts. You got to have the proper gear. You got to have the proper training. You got to have the proper equipment. You got to have a proper, in the Mount Everest analogy, you got to have a Chopra.
Yeah. And
you got to have a Chopra that's going to get you to the top of the mountain, who's been there time and time and time again. And Gagan is that. That's all I can say. For me, Gagan is a spiritual leader that is helping me to get from a very, very, very negative place and negative situation for me to see that God, in my case, put me on this earth for greatness.
Yes.
And it's about learning how to go from point A to C, and you got to walk through the B.
You have to. Yeah. There's no other way
out. Sometimes the B is smelly.
Yeah.
But it's worth the journey.
It is. And I'll tell you, a lot of people come to me in a transition phase, or they have tried everything else out there, spent millions of dollars or hundreds of dollars in coaching, counseling, decades of counseling.
Yes.
And they've gone from point A to point B, but they haven't gone to point D or Z for that matter. And they're still struggling. So somehow the people that I attract, my soul clients, are the ones who have, one, tried everything and still they're not satisfied. They're not content. The fulfillment is not there. Two, their karmic debt is so high that they know that something needs to change, but they don't know what. They don't know the root cause. Okay, there, Clayton is raising his hand. So they don't know what the root cause is because they've tried and tried and tried. They've made some success, but then they fall apart again. They make some, so they're just sick and tired of trying. So they want a solution that is like once and on fall so that they can move forward. The third kind of people are in transition of their seasons of life. So most of the people will be in career-related situations or in a long-term relationship, and now they are not fulfilled. Or they are getting anxious or scared that they don't know what the future holds for them. So they want to know a clear pathway of their next season of life. What do they need to do to retire? What do they need to do to go from this company to that company? So that kind of strategic forecasting that I can do with Destiny Science and then coach people on this is a very fulfilling journey for me. And it just happens that when people take that journey, it just changes them 180 degrees towards positivity to actually start manifesting what they had never, ever imagined was possible. So we have a legal situation coming up in October for you, Bruce. And you've been really debating which path to take. And we've been working towards a clarity on, I know which path you need to take, but I can't take that path because it's your path. I can tell you, I can point out, Bruce, take this option, this is better, but then there are a lot of other moving variables or I can say people, or I can say situations that can give their own opinion, their side of the story, their advice, and they can plant fear into the decision-making process that, oh, if you don't do this, then this can happen. If you don't do this, this can happen, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
In that situation? Okay.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, it is your free will choice. It is
Yes.
your courage. It is your journey, and it is your situation. Based upon what you've accomplished in the last 4 months, you need to find that space of confidence and make a command to manifest what you really want. And only you can do that. I can't. And we've been working this month to get you to that place of confidence, to make the right decision for yourself that will give you the best result for you. And that's what this whole program is about. And I'm very excited to take my tribe, my people, my soul clients into this new program that is going to be in a group format, teaching destiny science and how to manifest your reality to create the outcomes that you want. And Bruce is a living example of that, going through
Absolutely.
that journey. And I'm very proud of you, Bruce, for accepting your fears and saying that, you know what, I am having a bad day today, and how do I get out of it? And how do you get into your sage mode to start getting into that place? And look at that smile.
Yes, very much so.
It's a beautiful journey, and it's very empowering. And I'll tell you, a couple of years ago, I've done metaphysics as a covert affair for over 10 years. Yes. So my life fell apart, and I realized that the universe was closing all doors, all windows, all the aspects where I could just escape and not take on the responsibility of being a guide and a spiritual person and help people coach through their journeys. I was avoiding that responsibility. So the universe decided to close all doors on me and shut down all the windows so that there's only one door open, and I will not have any other choice to walk through that door. And that's where my life was 3.5 years ago, when everything crumbled down and I was broke. And I knew what I was supposed to do, but I didn't have the courage. I was too scared. And I can relate to that feeling when clients come to me when they are broke in one form or fashion, whether it is health, whether it's life in general, whether it's their job, whether it is their business, whether it is their love life, whether it's their life with their children, whether they're struggling with parents. No matter what aspect it is, they are broke. There is so much pain that they don't know what else to do with it. And they go crumbling down or spiraling downward. So you have to get them to a place where they can now be neutral and then move on to manifestation. And doing it with destiny science gives you so much of courage to see what is possible and then to go after it. And it's a beautiful journey. So there was a Chinese proverb, and I don't know if I've shared this with you, Bruce, in the past or not, but I do write about it quite often, that literally was my universal marker to walk this journey. This was like 3.5 years ago. So I don't know if you know it or not, my company name is called Unfold Your Success. So I do business as Gagan Sarkaria brand, but my legal company name is Unfold Your Success. So I've always had this affinity with the word success and unfolding people's success, unfolding my success, unfolding Bruce's success, Clayton's success. That's what kind of excites me. So this proverb was like a equation for success. And if you want to write it down, I mean, it's really an eye-opener. It says success is 30% abilities, 70% yunqi. It's a Chinese proverb. And I was fascinated by the equation because, you know, a part of me is very analytical and strategic, and I want to calculate success. How can I get there?
Yes.
You know, the shortest way, most successful, guaranteed route. you know, I'm a type A. I want success. So how can I get
Bingo.
there? How can I create results? A lot of coaches and spiritual mentors, or astrologers for that matter, or psychic readers, people who channel or do metaphysics, they will not guarantee success. They will not guarantee results. And I'm all about quality, and I'm all about results. So if I can't see that I can help you create results, I won't take the challenge.
That's a fact. That is a huge fact.
No matter where you are, you can say, my life is done and I have no way to succeed. And if I can see something on your chart, I'll walk you through it if you're willing to walk the journey. But I won't walk for you because it's not my journey, right? So success is 30% abilities and 70% yun-chi. What does that really mean? Well, abilities is your natural born talents. Abilities is your skill set that you've acquired in 54 years of your life, Bruce?
Yes.
That's only 30% of the success. Does 30% sound like success to you guys?
No, you wouldn't win in Vegas with 30%.
There you go. I think even in academic, and I come from academia, higher education, I've taught for 20 years, even in academia, to pass, you need 70%.
Yeah.
A C to pass any class, right? So life, 30%, that's not success, not at least in my terms. So then the focus became 30% abilities and 70% yun-chi. And I'm like, what the heck is yun-chi? That's 70%. Can I learn that? And I'm already a success because it's 70%. So my focus became, what is yun-chi? Yun-chi is a Chinese word. Yun means Y-U-N. Yun means encircling, environment. Your inner environment and your external environment, the surroundings, okay? That's where the feng shui is very, very important. And then qi is the electromagnetic frequency inside you and around you, which is, in Sanskrit, they call it prana. In Japanese, it's called ki. And in Chinese, it's called qi, Q-I or C-H-I, qi. So 70% is yun and qi together. So if I can help you shift your inner environment and awaken your guardian of destiny, and I can create some ripple effect in your surrounding environment, and then I can help you increase your aura and your life force to create manifestations, that's 70% success right there.
Bingo.
That's what we've been playing for the last 4 months with you, Bruce.
I know. And the cool thing about it is, when we say playing with it, it really is, for me, knowing I'm so much more than 70%.
Yes.
I wasn't a C average student in school. I've not been a C average, person in life. Mm-hmm. And even though life has given me a D or an F, situation, on an exam, on a quiz, on a challenge, whatever you want to call it, it's not defining me. It's not defining that from this point forward, I will only be a C average, being on this earth. I know within I'm not C average.
Yeah. And
the problem is most people know they're not C average, but they don't know how to overcome and how to get past being C average or D average or F average. And there's people that are, Bs that strive to be As.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You need a coach. You need a mentor. I'm blessed and thankful to my guardian destiny, angel that aligned Gagan and I up so many years ago before we physically met in person. Yeah. Our paths were literally just like that, thanks to Master Jenny.
Yeah.
And I'm here getting to share on this Zoom right this moment, not so much about all my successes, because yes, like she said, I still have some very, very big challenges that are facing me. I mean, and for most people, they would be like, oh my gosh, well, how can he talk about successes if he's got, because I'm seeing every freaking day that I'm getting successes. Yeah. Therefore, I'm aware of them. I'm aware that the knock at the door, I know who's knocking.
Yeah.
It's
a compound effect.
Yes.
It's a compound effect. And that's where, when you earlier said that you need to be able to be in that space and awareness where you need to know if it's a blessing or not. Yes. How do you know the success is there? And even when I do life map readings with my clients and I do some validation questions, and I did those with you too, I asked you about your past, and I was not a part of your past.
No.
And, and I say to myself, and I claim that because, at the end of the day, I'm a human being too. I can make mistakes as well. But when I can make some validation claims, or I can tap into your past and ask you certain questions, and they are 80% accurate. Most of the times I'm 100% accurate. But if they are 60 to 80% accurate in my analysis, then I know where I can take you in the future piece.
Yes.
So the only person who can validate and tell me that if my starting point, which is your past, some events that have happened in the past, but I was not a part of that journey with you, that they were accurate analysis, then I know when I'm forecasting, when I'm going forward to shift what needs to happen in the present, I'm on the right path.
Yes.
And I can do that without my client's input, without you telling me. So when you said, hey, be willing to not hold any skeletons in the closet, that's very true, because I'm going to see your everything.
Literally. And I mean, and just like when I had the opportunity to meet with Master Jenny, in the past, it was real simple. There were some basic questions, and then it literally was as if she put a DVD or a VHS tape, whatever you want to call it, in, and she just began to share with me about my life. Jump ahead, because that's who taught and is Gagan's mentor. Gagan has done the same exact thing. When Gagan started doing this with me, we had not made the connection about Master Jenny. It was after Gagan had taken the same DVD and put in and hit play and was laying it all out, that I said, wow, this is exactly like what happened with me years ago when I, had the opportunity to sit with a feng shui master, in California, and then through a series of questions, then it was very easily determined, wow.
And I think there is a synchronicity there, because when
yes.
we didn't start the journey with the conversation that, hey, your teacher, I visited your teacher decades ago, that was part of the conversation. You were still deciding how to move forward with me, because there were some challenges initially.
Yes.
How am I going to pay you? What am I going to do? Gagan, I'm in this trouble. And I'm like, we will take one step at a time. I think you realizing that you had visited years ago my master teacher, who has trained me with Ziwei Daoshu, one school of format, that was a universal marker for you to move forward.
And that was a big knock on the door.
That was the sign.
I mean, if you don't, as you're listening to this, please take from this that you really have to be in tune to the knock at the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the beauty about this whole process, is Gagan is assisting me in learning the difference between somebody just knocking at the door because they just want to come in, and then something on the other side of the door that you want to invite in.
Yeah. That's really beautiful. And, you know, it's interesting because I'm not the only Chinese astrologer in United States. I worked with Master Jenny, like my master, who I started my journey with as her apprentice for 14 months. And then I wanted to take a deeper dive and get certified. And she is the one who directed me, based upon my chart, the right direction, to find the right country, to find the right institution that would certify me. So that's where I went to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, to finish my certification. And it just happened that I learned one type of assessment with Master Jenny. And then when I went to Malaysia, I learned another set of strategies to do that. So now I've formulated my own program to blend these layers upon layers upon layers of assessment, and how to create a blueprint of success for every client. And for those who know me from different aspects of what I deliver, life map reading is one piece. Learning how to read your chart and the coaching program, which is the 4-month coaching program, it is a different aspect of the program, but we walk the journey based upon your chart. And I include Chimen Donja, another style, into that program. That's what Bruce is learning, and how to do forecasting, and how do you overcome challenges. And then at the end of the road, I also help people birth their stories into books and businesses so that they can monetize their talents. So those stories are basically your life stories. So I have a 6-month cohort that is also starting up in November, that I help people birth their stories, and then I create best-selling books out of it. So I help authors and coaches and consultants and executives take their stories, and we birth them in 6 months, and we get them to bestseller status, all based upon their Ziwei Daoshu destiny chart and Chimen practices. So creating that as a business is very, very powerful. So I thank you guys for being here today and sharing success stories. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you so much for opening your heart and telling us where you've been, where you're going. We're very proud of you. Oh, Clayton, I was going to invite you for a minute to see if there is, I'm going to mute. So tell us, you've been listening and you've been muted. So tell us what you have to say, and what is your struggle or challenge, or what are your takeaways from today? You and I don't know each other.
Definitely.
This is the first time.
No. Yep. Correct.
Okay. Is he?
Oh, can you hear me? Well,
Yes. Yes.
okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to attest first to the fact that I've walked alongside Bruce in this journey as he's went through this situation, and the things that you were saying and Bruce are saying, I can attest to that they're completely true and accurate, because we speak daily, if not text message or via phone call. So what's really crazy is we talk about some of these things, and then he reconfirms with you. So I've witnessed firsthand a lot of these things. So I just wanted to say that. And it has been, it really has been strange at times where Bruce will text me or call me, and we've both kind of been in a similar journey, not the exact same, but both going through types of struggle. And we've kind of been like a team for each other. Like when Bruce needs me, I'm there, and we're each other's shoulders. And I've definitely, there's been things that happen for and with Bruce that I sit back and go, holy crap, that was wild, and that just didn't randomly happen out of nowhere. That was an act of a miracle.
Wow.
And it's blown me away several times, the wild things that has come out of it, where someone has randomly shown up out of the blue to help assist Bruce or give Bruce a blessing just out of nowhere. And it's been pretty wild. And I even at times go, whoa, what are you doing? What do we need to do? I need some of that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those wild things. But
that's a beautiful share. I really appreciate, because that is something outside what Bruce and I do. So this is like an added layer of confirmation that Bruce is on the right path. And, to have confidence to actually win this war. I call life like a battlefield. People say, oh, I want my life to be very happy and out of no problems and everything should be like really beautiful. I'm like, well, that's boring. I'm not saying that we need to have challenges and problems all the time. I don't think so. What I believe in, that life, what gives you joy and happiness and success is when you are able to solve problems. Life is full of problems because we are supposed to learn our karmic lessons. That's how we grow. And if we don't know what those lessons are, if we don't have challenges, we don't have problems to solve, we're not going to be happy, we're not going to be fulfilled, and we will not be achievers.
Can I add one more?
Sure.
Like random. So at 2 points during this Zoom, when I raised my hand was one of the times you literally of the things that I was going through, to the point of like I felt compelled to like raise my hand and say yes, like almost like a preacher preaching and you're like yelling amen, amen. That's how strongly I felt compelled.
Well, thank you. You're going in and out. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
No, I was just saying that the things that you were saying were actually lining up with exactly some of the things I was going through and the types of situations. And it was just kind of wild it kind of hit me of like, wow, that's surreal. And then just a couple minutes ago, some of the things you were saying, as well as what Bruce was saying, it's pretty wild. I'm definitely a believer. I've always been a believer in the things that you're speaking of, and I have learned quite a few things along my journey of life that has changed my whole view of how to perceive and go through this journey. But I definitely am struggling with quite a few things due to some recent activities that have happened in my life as well. And I believe that's how Bruce and I have only known each other for a little over a year. And when we met, it felt like we had known each other for a long time, and we had just not talked to each other, and we just ran into each other randomly, and we just picked up where we left off. And it's been like that ever since. It's like we've known each other forever. It's strange, but
it's not strange to me. Okay. I believe that we all have our soul buddies or soul families. So I believe that the clients that I attract, they are my soul buddies or soul family members or soul tribe. And I don't do marketing heavily to market what I serve or bring to the table. So far, for the last 4 years, I built my business through word of mouth. Somebody will hear about me through someone, and then they are mesmerized, or they're curious, or they're fascinated that, oh, I want to know more. And it has been a very hard journey for me to literally turn this entire metaphysical aspect from a covert affair to literally come out and make it an overt affair, because now I tell people what I really do. I mean, yeah, I'm a business coach. Yes, I can be a life coach. I'm a branding specialist, and I help you birth your book. But how do I do that is through Chinese metaphysics, Eastern philosophies, and destiny science. So quality and results are very, very important to me, no matter what I do. And if I can't deliver quality and I can't create results, then I'll tell you up front, I'm not the right person for you. You need to go find somebody else.
Yes.
I'll be very upfront, because it's not about money. A lot of times, well, not a lot of times, sometimes will ask me, why are you not a millionaire? You teach me how to make money. Why are you not a millionaire? You should be making millions of dollars. Yeah, sure. It is on my chart. I can see, I have the potential, but I can't be greedy. That's not my focus. My focus is to create wealth through wisdom and knowledge, and help people create their success. And if their success is to be a millionaire, I'll be the catalyst. And that's what is fulfilling to me. And it's hard for people to understand that when they don't understand the basic foundation of the philosophies that I bring to the table. Make sense?
Totally.
People can say, oh, I want to make millions of dollars. I'm like, okay, let's start with the reality. Are you making six-figure income right now? No. How much are you making? 34. Then I'm sorry, $1 million is outside your realm of possibility. You can't do that today. Now, 5 years down the road, maybe. So let's get you to the 5-year mark and let's see how much we can create. If you're making $700,000 a year in a business and your goal is $1 million, can I take you there? Absolutely, yes. I have, with some of my clients who were at the brink, who were $1 million businesses at the brink of bankruptcy, worked with them for 8 months, and the outcome was $1.2 million return, a gross income. Bankruptcy to 1.2. Because it was $1 million business, they had the systems, they had the strategies, they had the product. They didn't have was the alignment.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have the vision. They didn't have the forecasting aspect, and they were attracting the wrong people. So when I walk them through the process and I work with them for 8 to 9 to 10 months, that's where their outcome is dependent upon their chart and their path. For somebody who's totally broke and doesn't have any funds, you can't be a millionaire. That's outside the realm of possibility. So I want to be very clear that the results we create are dependent upon your current situation, the assessment, and then what is it that you're going to bring and how are you going to manifest it with me based upon your realm of possibility. If your realm is this one, you can't get what is outside the realm, right? But if your realm becomes bigger and we expand slowly and I can teach you what that can be, then yes, you can be a realtor and you can own multiple properties. Right, Bruce?
Yes.
Yes. So, all right. I'm going to stop the recording here and then we can continue a little bit more. Okay. So thank you guys once again.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
You're welcome.
For being on this call. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to enjoy this. So thank you. Okay.